Well, you want to make music fast and you don't want to be told where to buy a new DAW. You just want to know, is there any way that you can make music from what you already currently have? Well, you've landed on the right place, because today I'm going to be walking you through on how you can get started making music for free using GarageBand. What's up guys, how's it hanging? Welcome back to this Den we call our studio, and today I'll be running you through how you can get started making music with your laptop right now as we speak. Matter of fact, you already have the software installed. Yes, I'm talking about GarageBand. Well, GarageBand is a free music creation software which is kind of like a lighter version of its bigger daddy Logic Pro X. And the best part is that you can use it on any device, be it your Mac, your laptop, your phone, and even your tablet. How cool is that? And at this point, it goes without saying that it's a Mac only software and Apple only software, so you have to have either a Mac device or an iPhone or an iPad. It does not work on Windows or Android devices. But I'm guessing most of the people out there have at least one Apple device. That's an amazing company. It has amazing range of products, and you just can't get away from a household without an Apple device. So if you have an iPhone, just pick it up. Launch GarageBand if you don't already have it. I'll show you how to download it right now, and just let's get started. Alright, so first things first, if you have GarageBand installed, the best way is to just type in command space. That launches your Spotlight search. Just type in GarageBand. Well, I already have it installed, but if you don't have it installed, and probably for some reason you might have just offloaded the app from your Mac or your new iPhone, just head over to App Store. Go to search, tap in GarageBand, and there you have it. So you can just download it. It's absolutely free. It is not that heavy either, but this is how you can download. Now this works in both Mac, iPhone, and your iPad. So now that you've downloaded your GarageBand, well, when you launch it, this is the first screen that greets you. So you have a template. It's a window where you can select either an empty project. You can set the tempo right over here. You can also have a key signature, a time signature, or you can go ahead and select predefined project templates that already comes with GarageBand over here. You can also select your input and output device right over here, and you can choose. For now, I just want to launch an empty project. So I go ahead and click on empty project and select choose. So the next window that you're greeted with is the type of track that you want to choose. So you have an option from software instrument, audio input, be it recording vocals or guitar, even piano, and the inbuilt drummer. Now do notice this is the lighter version of Logic Pro, so it's easier to understand for beginners if you are just starting out. And as you can see, you don't have much of options. Too much of options create confusion, and this way GarageBand directly asks you what do you want to do. Now this is very simple and very easy to use for beginners out there. If you're just starting out to create music and you don't want to spend so much of money and time and effort to understand the nuances of the digital audio workstations, you can get started with GarageBand. It's easy, it's free, and it's amazing. Let's go ahead and select a piano track. For example, I just want to have a piano track. So I'll go ahead and select the software instrument. So let me run you through the UI of GarageBand. On the top, you have the control bar. Over here, this is the library section where you select the sounds that you want. You can definitely scroll back and you have basses, drum kit, guitars, keyboards, mallets, orchestral, so you have strings, violins, and all of that. Piano, synthesizers, so you can make pads and get that cool sounding synthesizer sounds. You have an organ, clav, electric piano, mellotron, world, and you have in the world section, you have amazing flutes from various countries and various amazing instruments that you won't find a plugin for. You have the arpeggiator, and then you have the legacy instruments which are inside GarageBand and Logic. On the right, you have the quick help section. So if you're just starting out, if you want to know what knobs does what, so you can just click it, hover at whatever knobs you want, and it would just tell you what it does. So that's a quick and easy way for all of the beginners out there who just want to start learning how to create music. On the right, you have the track section, and this controls various knobs, your track masters, your master channel, your various plugins, and all of the good stuff. So we'll get to that a little later on, but just know this is your mixer section where you mix your track and change the tonality of various sounds. So if you want to brighten certain sound, you do that from here. If you want to increase the bass of certain sounds, you do that from over here. You want to add some reverb, some delays, you do that from over here. So that's the control bar or the control section, I would say. This is where you see all of that. Next to that, we have the piano roll or the piano editor. Now, this is where you punch in MIDI notes. What is MIDI? Well, it's musical instruments digital interface. It's a protocol which are used in digital synthesizers and computers to draw in notes that plays for you. So in layman terms, it is a way of interacting with digital instruments inside your computer. That's all you need to know right now. And it's too complicated, it's too technical. We don't want that. We just want to know how you can start creating. So you punch in notes through MIDI. And if you don't have a MIDI keyboard, you can just draw in right over here. And it looks like these notes. So this is where you draw in the MIDI notes and the chords, the leads and the bass lines and whatnot. You do it right over here. And you have various controls for the MIDIs and you have note controls as well. So that's the piano roll or the piano editor. Right on the center, you have the play and the pause section. You have the rewind, you have the skip, you have play, record, you have loop. Next to that, you have a small display where you can see your tempo, your bars and the beats, and you can select what key the song is in, or you can also select the time signature as you can see over here 4x4. Next to that, you have the tuner. You have the count-in for the metronome. So you have like 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you start recording. So it's just kind of like a count-in to keep you in time. And next to that, you have the metronome, very important when you're creating music. Then you have the master volume controls. And then you have a notepad where you can punch in your notes, maybe lyrics, maybe new song ideas. And then you have the Apple loops. So when you download GarageBand, Apple gives you a bunch of loops that you can play around with. And you have certain ideas. If you're just lost for some ideas, you can just bring in some loop and then start creating some song of your own. And these are spread across various instruments. You have drums, you have piano, organ, bass, guitars, vocals, brass, and whatnot. So you can definitely explore a bunch of loops from here. And if you just want to get started, you can just drag and drop these loops. So what you see over here is that you have certain kind of a row, and these are what are called as tracks. Now, let's say you have in mind that you want to create a music with maybe piano, bass and drums. So you need 3 different tracks where you can put in these 3 different instruments. So that is where the tracks come and play. So I have one track, which is Steinway Grand. And if I want to add another track, let's say a bass line, I just go over here to the plus section. I click and I select another software instrument. And I go back to the sound library. I select bass and I select any kind of bass. And now I have a piano track as well as a bass track, and all of the controls change accordingly. So all of the tracks have individual control section and you can load in individual plugins. So now that we have the basic understanding of what the UI looks like, how the GarageBand sound library works, how the tracks work, what are MIDIs, what are controls, and what are the tempo controls, the metronome and whatnot, let's move on to creating some sound. But before we jump in right there, if you're getting value from this video, let me know by hitting that like button and helping the algorithm. And while you're at it, subscribe to the channel. It goes a long way. So let's just create some sort of a sound. So I have a MIDI keyboard, which makes it pretty easy. So if you're a pianist, it's very easy to kind of play. So the sound that you're hearing is coming from GarageBand. But let's assume you don't have that luxury. So if you go right over here, if you click on the track, you have something called as create MIDI region. Now this creates a simple MIDI region of 4 bar. And over here you have what is called as a cycle range. So, and by the way, if you don't know those certain jargons and if you're just learning, you just hover over whatever you want to learn and GarageBand will show what it is. So a cycle range is the cycle where it kind of loops back and forth. So you don't have the playhead just jumping haywirely. So if you have the region and if you double click, so you then land up on the piano roll. So let me just switch off this sound library so that you have a better view of the piano roll. Over here you have the notes. Obviously you have the musical notes C, D, E, F, G, A, B. And to create a chord progression, let's create a simple chord C. So C major chord has C, E and G in it. And if I want to hear what I've punched in, by the way I've punched it is that I've held command. So it opens up a pencil tool and just punch in the chords. And if you want to resize it, you can just resize it according to it. So that's how you just punch in the notes. Now you have a C major chord right over here, but you want to hear how it sounds. So what you do is that you just press your space button on your keyboard, and that is the shortcut for the play button over here. And if you can hear, the metronome is also working in the background. So I have the tempo set to 120, but you can definitely change. Let's set it to 110. Yep. All right. Now I don't want the metronome as of yet, so I'll just switch it off. But these chords are sounding a little low, so I just want to bring it up an octave. How you do that is that you just press the Option, Shift and the up arrow on your keyboard. So it brings all of the chords one octave above. And now you press space and there you have it. You have a C chord. Let's go ahead and punch in maybe A minor. So I have A over here. I'll go and punch into the second bar. So I don't want to punch in over here because these are bars 1, 2, 3 and 4. So these are denoted by 1, 2, 3 and 4 bars. So the first bar is C major. Let's have the second bar as A minor. So A minor has A, C and E. And now I have F and G as well. Let's hear back all of the chords. And did you see that once I have engaged the cycle range, it repeats itself. Now you have a beautiful pop chord progression right there. And you have created your first region and your first chord progression from your first instrument. How cool is that? So it's that easy to get started with GarageBand, and I completely get it. If you're a beginner, it all seems very exciting, but you also need to know a little bit of chord theory or music theory so that it helps you get the direction that you want to go into. So you can check out this video right over here where I run you through various chord progressions and chord theory so that you have a basic understanding of how you get started if you're a complete beginner. You can jump back in GarageBand and practice yourselves. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Till then, cheers.